about simplicity. So, but why is it that most people struggle to create real wealth, right? Do only what they love. Why do they struggle to feel a sense of happiness on a daily basis? Why is that? Why? Well, our guest here, Mike, is here to tell you because really their minds are liabilities which work against them. Their minds constantly scream worry, doubts, and fear with every decision that they make. It's what we all know to be true. And if you don't, well, you're learning it here because ultimately, what we all know to be true is that business is only 20% strategy and it is 80% mindsets, right? And people who have already created wealth, success, and happiness have minds that are an asset that work for them. An asset, right? Not that works for them, not against them. Their minds inspire certainty, confidence, and courage. And in our show here tonight, this episode of Entrepreneurship is a Marathon with your host, myself, Vanessa Zamy, and our guest, Mike Kitko, will be sharing with you how you can turn your mind into an asset capable of creating anything that you want. But first, I know some of you are likely new, so
welcome to Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, a podcast about how you can grow a profit-producing, purpose-driven business without burnout. We don't need more people starting businesses. We need more people continuing. Each week, we'll deliver the latest and greatest tips, tricks, and strategies for you to revive, grow, and scale your business. Now, here's your host, consultant, professor, and the business defibrillator, Vanessa Zamy.
hello, everyone. We're back. So our guest, Mike Kitko, is a Marine with an MBA. I have more about his bio to share, but I just want to give you guys what you guys are in for a taste for, okay? Mike has been in the corporate spaces, okay? And he has just climbed it up and made it up. And now him and his family have their own business, essentially helping other people, other business owners, right? With their inner wealth. Okay. And so you are in for a treat this evening as we go, as he will share, right? How you can turn your mind from an asset to a liability. But first, as we do in every episode, right? What has been your win of the week, right? Let's take a moment. Yes, maybe you may have those doubt and fears and worries in your mind right now as you sit here watching this. There may have been a moment this morning where you were like, do I even want to get out of bed? Okay. But ultimately, I want you to take a step back and sit in this moment. And for the last 7, I want you to reflect the last 7 days. What has been your win of the week during the last 7 days? We're going to start with our guest here. Mike, what has been a win of the week? It could be personal. It could be business. It could be both. What has been a win of your week?
The best win of the week is me and my team have been after more podcast appearances, and it seems like every day now I'm on podcast appearances 2 or 3 times a day, and it's really cool. And the word's really spreading, and that's really moving the needle on all of our lives and our businesses.
Love it. Fantastic. Yes. I remember when I was doing the podcast circuit, at some point I did like 80 of them in the span of a year. And I was like, oh my God. The span of 6 months. And I was like, oh my goodness. But yes, I love it. I love it. The message is spreading and he has a message that he will be sharing with us here this evening, folks. Love it. Oh, what has been my win of the week? That's such a great question. For those who are watching, please type in the comments as well too. What has been your win of the week? Let us know. Share it with us. My win of the week was actually yesterday. My clients were crying during their sessions yesterday. I'm like, Vanessa, why is that a win? Because those tears meant there was a transformation. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm a business consultant, but as we said, business is 20% strategy, 80% mindset. What a fitting episode for this evening. But ultimately, right. I remember one act said, wait, pause. Aren't we doing business? And I was like, we are. You are the core of your business, right? And as the core of the business, we need to get you nice and tight to ensure that the work that we do is not wasted, because I don't like wasting my time and I like wasting my clients' time. So we're going to make sure that the life in the business is all together and seamless. But with that being said, we have a special guest here, right? Mike Kitko. Ooh, someone shared a win in their comments. They said, hey, they wrote a grant that was accepted and love it. Yay. See, when you apply and you get the wins. Oh, love it. That's fantastic. Love it. Yes. For anyone as well too. If you're watching the replay, feel free to also share what has been your win of the week as well too. So tonight I'm going to do a lovely little bio, not little. It's a pretty big bio, but of our guest here, Mike Kitko. Yes, I'm so honored to have him here with us this evening. Okay. A Marine with an MBA, Mike successfully served in executive leadership roles for Fortune 500 companies. Yes, he felt like an imposter. Have you been there, folks? Have you been there? Feel like an imposter sometimes? No matter how much success he achieved, he always felt unsuccessful, unfulfilled, and unhappy. His inability to understand his internal conflict led him to excessive drinking, uncontrolled anger and rage, and the abuse of everything he cared about in his life. Yet, through coaching, intense study, and deep work, Mike learned to understand the four conflicting voices inside each of us, which create internal conflict. And by identifying and shifting these internal narratives, Mike was able to take complete control of his life and results, and now helps others do the same. He has created real wealth, success, and happiness, and he wants to help you do the same. He's located in St. Louis, Missouri. Fun fact, right? But yeah, he will be sharing with you wherever you are the tips and tricks to turning your mind from a liability to an asset. So first, Mike, what are those four conflicting voices?
So think my company is Inner Wealth Global. So this all lines up, Vanessa. Thanks for having me. But let me change my win of the week. My win of the week is being on here on this podcast with somebody with more energy than me. Never thought I would experience that. So the four voices, right? So the first voice is the voice of loss. It's the one that says everything's falling apart and you're about to lose everything. It's insecurity. Okay. That's number one. I mean, people are around the world are, trapped in jobs that they hate and doing things that they hate. They're going places they hate, all because of insecurity. Number two is inadequacy. And I wrote a book called The Imposter in Charge. And the imposter syndrome is it's basically founded on an inadequacy. I'm not good enough. Okay. Number three is insignificance. I don't matter. I'm here to prop up everybody else, but I'm just a waste of space and I'm a waste of air and waste of oxygen. I don't matter. My life, I'm just a mule here to make everybody else happy and make everybody else better. But the only voice that actually creates wealth, success, and happiness, but you got to get through the clutter of insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance to be able to hear it. The only voice that creates what you really want is inspiration. It's that voice that when you wake up and you open your eyes in the morning, you say, I get to live this life. I get to do these things. I get to go to these places. I get to teach these people. I get to all these things. It's being able to say yes when you want to say yes and no when you want to say no, because you're inspired to say yes or no. It's not out of obligation and it's not out of pain. It's not out of guilt or shame. But again, it's the only one, inspiration is the only voice that creates wealth, success, and happiness. But people around the world, 8 billion people on the planet, and most are trapped in insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance and can't hear the inspiration inside of them.
Yes, that is so true. That is so true, right? So how do they hear that inspiration inside of them? Like what are some tips and tricks you can share with us here?
Well, I think the first part is stop running. You've got to stop running. You've got to close your eyes. You've got to shut off all the stimulus around you. You've got to literally sit with yourself. And it's the most painful thing that human beings, and the scariest thing that human beings can face. It's basically facing yourself. It's shut down the world and go inside of you and see what's happening in your mind and in your body. And this is called self-mastery. So if you look at meditation, we talk about meditation. Meditation is a tool for really understanding what's happening in your mind. And what meditation is if I were to put up my finger and say, hey, look at my finger and focus on my finger, and you look at it and you concentrate on my finger, meditation is taking that concentrated focus and putting it inside of you, right? In your mind, and watching the thoughts in your head, feeling the emotions in your body, feeling the anxiety, feeling the up and down state the chaos that's happening in your mind and body. When you realize what's happening in your mind, when you realize what's happening in your body, finally you can do something about it. But it's only when you inspect your thoughts and observe your thoughts and investigate your thoughts that you're going to see the insecurity, the inadequacy and insignificance that most likely you've been running from your whole life, but you might not have just ever stopped to pay attention to it so that we can start debunking the stories that they're telling you. But it's only after, so I ascended the ladder of executive level leadership, but after the wheels fell off, 300 pounds, suicidal, toxic drinking, abusive to my family, lost, fired twice in 20 months. It's only after everything fell apart and I was left like to pick up the pieces from the ashes, literally. It's only that time that I looked to see what I was running from. And I was running from molestation and abuse and neglect and abandonment and bullying and, just a violent childhood. Those stories were deciding where I was going and what I was doing every day. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It's what I felt I had to do to survive. But when you shift from survival mode, insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance, to success mode or to service mode, inspiration, that's when you can really start to live. And that's when you never, ever have to sacrifice yourself ever again. Because when you do what you love, you don't really work, right? We've heard that before.
Indeed. I know you feel the same way I do. We are doing what we love. So we don't feel like we're working. I love people say why my energy comes from. My energy comes from water, sleep, and also your comments, folks. So your comments. So if you're watching on YouTube, I want you to scroll a little below and hit subscribe. And I want you to tell us what do you get to do today? Right? When Mike says, what do you get? Like, what I get what, right? I get to what? So type in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Scroll below, hit that subscribe, and then type in the comments, what do you get to do today, right? What do you get to do right now, right? Maybe it's the morning, maybe it's the afternoon, maybe it's the evening, maybe it's the weekend, maybe it's the weekday, right? What do you get to do? And if you're listening to us on the podcast, right, I want you to if you're driving, drive safely, okay, and pay attention to the road. But otherwise, right, if you're not driving, you're in a safe space, I want you to really sit there and just think, what do you get to do right now? Sometimes maybe it's just you just get to breathe. Maybe you just get to breathe, right? Maybe you just get to breathe. And there you go. You just leave it at that. And then tomorrow you get to, the person who won the grant, you get to just bask in that glory of that grant, right? We had someone else share their win in terms of, they said something about, I think they said that, keeping up with their exercise schedule, right? They get to exercise. They get to exercise, right? And so what do you get to do, right? Take what Mike is sharing with us. What do you get to do? Okay.
And I would
love it.
To another level, Vanessa, take a look at what do you get to do and inspect that. Like what parts of your life is inspiration? What parts do you get to do? But also look back at the course of your day. Look at today. Look at yesterday. What did you do? Because it was fear-based. It was based on insecurity. And again, insecurity is the fear of loss. All you're doing is you're doing things to try to hold things together. What are you doing in your life to just try to hold things together and not lose stuff? Maybe it's finances, maybe it's relationship, maybe it's health, but inadequacy. What are you doing to try to prove something to yourself? What are you doing to try to prove something to other people, right? Where are you going? You see on LinkedIn, you look at somebody's profile and there's 50 letters after their name. And that's, in some cases, that's a form of inadequacy, right? I'm not enough. I just got to go and get another certificate. And
say it again.
and insignificance, where are you putting people up on pedestals? Because when you're putting somebody up on a pedestal, what it means is you feel less than. You don't feel significant. When you elevate somebody else's significance, their worth, their value, their importance, when you elevate, now I'm not saying that they haven't made a bigger impact in the world, but no one is more important than you. No one is more valuable than you. No one is more worthy than you. And if you put somebody up on a pedestal, that's insignificant showing up. So take a look at your entire day and the body of work and the body of choices that you've put together today, yesterday, the last 7 days. Where's insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance showing up? Those are the things that are causing you pain. Let's shift out of that, shift those into inspiration.
Oh, love it, folks. So while you're reflecting on that, we're going to take a quick little mini break here when we're going to get back with Mike. He has some nuggets, folks. Okay, so I want you to take the moment and reflect, and we're going to come back after a short, quick little break.
If you're a storefront business owner, salon owner, or brick and mortar shop owner, including a cafe, home decor, furniture, or clothing boutique, then listen up. We have some incredible discounted workshops at vzamy.com for our podcast listeners to help you increase your sales by 50%. If you're looking for more tips on reviving your business, make sure to visit our website, vzamy.com. That's vzamy.com. to register for our upcoming business growth workshop on staff management, financial management, and time management. It's your time to revive, grow, and scale your shop so you can go on that vacation and still have your shop thriving. Visit vzamy.com. That's V for Vanessa, Z for zebra, A for animal, M for money, Y as in yes.com.
Yes, vzamy.com. All right, cool. So we are back here with Mike Kitko, the CEO of Inner Wealth Global, who has been sharing some nuggets and with us here tonight on how to turn your mind from a liability into an asset. Folks, if you need to hear this all again, by all means, rewind. Yes, if you want to skip the ads and start at minute 5. But essentially, yes, with that being said, though, we are so happy to have Mike here today. Yes, I asked you guys to do the exercise. What do you get to do? We had someone share, I get to make my own schedule. Yes, love it, right? I get fantastic. Freedom. Okay, absolutely, right? Time freedom, love it, right? That is a very powerful part of freedom as well, right? You get to do your own schedule. Love it, love it, love it. Fantastic. Yes, so for those of you who are listening or tuning in just now, like, what do you get to do? Really reflect on that and think about that. So, Mike, I know you're also, a lot of your clients you've also mentioned, right, are real estate investors. And a lot of my clients, like, they have that main business that they've had for like 10, 11, 12 years. And they have that other side of their portfolio, though, that's like more in the earlier year stage where they're thinking about real estate investing because they're thinking about, okay, what else can I add to my portfolio as I retire, right? So whether it's a fix and flip or buy and hold or short-term, rentals, it's like there's also real estate investing, right? And so what are some, like, for those that are listening that kind of have that aspect to their business, what are some of the setback harmful actions that you see investors are taking or doing, even during this time of inflation and different things that are happening with the markets, or even during the pandemic, right? What are some of the setback harmful actions that people are taking or could be taking because of those voices in their head?
Sure. Number one is, let's talk about insecurity. It's just taking that first step. And in some cases, I work with people that are still trying to get the first deal and they're really scared of the first deal. They're really scared. I mean, at insecurity, it's like, is it all just going to fall apart? Right. Am I going to be able to do it? Is this real? Is it really going to work out? Am I good enough? Inadequacy. Who am I to build a real estate portfolio? So it's those internal questions about should I continue to build, or what happens if it starts to build and it starts to collapse. Insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance will keep you from building something powerful. So, but insecurity, I want to go back to that real quick because that's the one that I think eats the most people alive. There are people that I work with that love real estate. They absolutely adore real estate, and they wake up and their passion is structures and architecture and beauty and just structural magnificence. They love real estate, but there are people literally that are building a portfolio strictly out of insecurity. They're trying to like, they've got so much money fear trapped in their minds and their bodies. They've got a poisonous past with money. Maybe they've gone bankrupt before in the past. Maybe they've fallen on hard times. Maybe they've struggled financially. There's so much insecurity inside of them, so much financial pain that they're trying to put money on top of it to cure it. And it's not going to work. If your primary reason for real estate isn't because you love real estate, there are other avenues, especially if you're just doing it to feel safe financially, right? If you're trying to feel safe financially, it means that you're battling insecurity. There's other ways to feel safe besides doing something that you don't love. So when you feel secure, when you feel adequate, when you feel significant, and you love real estate, man, go, don't stop. But if you're scared and you don't know why you're doing real estate, you don't know why you're investing, you're just doing it because everybody told you should, question your beliefs, question your motives, question your fears. Why are you taking that step if it doesn't light you on fire?
And I think that, like, even applies to other things, right? Like, even just for those who are like in the business, right? It's sort of thinking about the business that you're in. Actually, when I talked about some of my clients who were in tears yesterday, right? One of the discussions that we had was, they were asking me to help them with this one business. And I said, okay. And then at some point in our discussion, talked about this other business, right? But when they talked about it, I saw a different light.
Different light.
Saw a different light. And I was like, you will not, you will not have me waste my time with this other business that you really don't want to do, but you're just doing it because you think you should and you think you can, or you think you can't do the other one. Absolutely not. Right. And so we had this whole discussion, right? But ultimately, I think what you're saying, Mike, is, whatever it is that you're doing, ensuring that you are doing it with the intention and
the inspiration. There are times in a coaching discussion, Vanessa, I'm sure you had this same conversation. You say to somebody who's, they're in a CEO or they're in a corporate role, and you say, what do you want? I want to get promoted. And I'm just making this shit up. But they say, I want to get promoted, right? And you say, what do you really want? Well, I really want to start this business. Well, wait a minute. But when I said, what do you want? You told me you just want something more of the same, but that's not really what you want, right? So why didn't you tell me that business first and foremost? Well, it's because it's a stupid idea and I'm not good enough. And who am I to start a business? Those are all the insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance that would keep that story small. But when they finally tell you what they want, exactly what you said, their energy goes through the roof and you can see a step change in their entire spirit because it's inspiration. That's their spirit talking.
Indeed it is, right? And I even think about even some examples of clients where, it's like I'm helping them with their business, right? They've been in business for 5+ years and they're thinking about this next step in their business to launch this other thing or to create this other thing, to add this additional product, this additional income stream. And when we take a step back, right, it's looking at, okay, what is their vision? What do they ultimately want, right? And helping them to see that. And so then I'm able to then develop the right strategy to fill in the actual gap because now I know the actual information, right? The inspiration, the true thing that's in their spirit. Yes. Love it. Love it. Okay, folks. So I hope you're inspired. I know you're inspired. Yes.
Listen, we've got 80 to 90 years to live. There's only two certainties in life. You were born and you're going to die. Like trying to hold on and just survive for 80 or 90 years makes no sense because death is undefeated. It's going to get you. So you're playing it safe. You're playing it secure. You're playing small. You're grasping for security. You're grasping for certainty. You're going to a job that you hate to build up a stockpile of money in case eternal damnation comes or the cataclysm. And all you're doing is trying to prevent death. And death is like undefeated. You're not going to beat death. So, you're born, you're going to die. What are you doing in between to light your soul on fire? Like the change that I made, Vanessa, like when I was 43 years old is when I got fired from that second executive level position, literally I took the barrel of the gun out of my mouth and said, everything that I've done up to this point has gotten me to that point. Like literally a barrel of a gun in my mouth. Like, let's not do any of that stuff anymore. And we're in bonus time. Let's live the life of our dreams from this point forward. Like, we're not just trying to prevent death or play it safe. You're playing it safe is not living. It's just trying to prevent death.
Indeed. What I sometimes tell some family members, I'm like, just live your life. Just live your life. That is really 3 simple words. Just live your life.
You can see people who are just trying to prevent death, and you can see people who are literally living. And death is undefeated. You're going to die. It's inevitable.
Indeed, folks. Yes. Well, we are almost coming out of time, folks, but I hope that you are getting inspired to live your life. With that being said, I know you have some gifts for us today, so I want to ensure you get the opportunity to share that with us. Mike, what gifts do you have for our audience here? Entrepreneurship is a marathon.
Thanks, Vanessa. So if you go to my website, www.livesoulout.com, there's right on the front page, there's a button that says sign up for register for the basic training. It's called the Inner Game of Wealth Basic Training. It's my video course, free. And it goes into, it describes the 4 voices. It asks some questions to really get into your mind and see what's in there. And then it gives you some tools to start moving from insecurity, inadequacy, insignificance into inspiration. I also, on the events page, inside of that training, and also on my events page, it has an invitation to the Inner Game of Wealth Basic Training Interactive. And that's a 2-hour live workshop with me virtually on October 29th, where we dive even further into the inner game of wealth. And we really understand those 4 voices, and I help you actively start moving beyond them.
Love it, folks. You're listening to Entrepreneurship Is a Marathon live here with Vanessa Zamy, that's me, and our special guest, Mike Kitko, the CEO of Inner Game Wealth. So check out his website, livesoulout.com. It is on your screen if you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. It is on your screen there. We're also going to put it in the comments as well. If you're watching the YouTube, in the description, learn more, show more, whatever it says, just you'll see the links there as well too. So hop on that. And I think also, Mike, you have an event coming up as well too. Tell us more about that event.
I do. And this is my intensive workshop. I do these 4 times a year. On November 4th and 5th in St. Louis, Missouri, right outside of St. Louis, Missouri, I've got my Inner Game of Wealth intensive workshop. And this is 2 super powerful days of work. I've got 2 other teachers that work with me. We take you deep into your mind, into your subconscious, really understand what's trapped in there that's trying to get out, that's got you living through states of insecurity, inadequacy, and insignificance. And in that workshop, an intensive workshop, we really help you move into inspiration and start to live the life of your dreams. Because again, you only have 80, 90 years left, right? Or 80, 90 years of your life. White knuckling it does nothing to prevent a life or to create a life of joy. It's only when you understand what you're inspired to create and you allow it to come out and play, that's the only time you'll truly feel satisfied, wealthy, content, fulfilled, on fire, and really enjoying life.
Indeed. Actually, you remind me of a saying that I've said a little bit recently. I've added to my life. I'm like, WWWVD. What would wealthy Vanessa do? What would wealthy Vanessa do, folks? Okay. So tap into your inspiration, right? Live Soul Out, and visit Mike at livesoulout.com. Check out his resource, his training for you. If you're inspired, you want to see more of this and hear more of this, then sign up for that 2-day conference in November. And Mike, otherwise, how can people reach you? What sites? Is the socials, all the socials?
Yeah, socials on Facebook, on TikTok. I just started a TikTok channel, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Mike Kitko, very simple, MikeKitko, very simple name. But I also have a podcast. And the title of the podcast is Lead, Love, Profit, Play. And it's on every major player. If you just put in my name, it'll pop up. And most episodes are just me giving you a new mindset, giving you a new heart set, giving you some inspiration to help you kickstart your inspiration and to find that zone that you're here and that path that you're here to get into. Because when we're living the life of everyone else's dreams, you're not going to find any joy there.
That is the truth, indeed. So search for Mike Kitko on your favorite podcast platform. Sign up for that. And for those of you who are faithful listeners of Entrepreneurship Is a Marathon, whether you're doing a podcast or you're watching us live, let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments, and also by leaving us a rating or a review. If you didn't already tell, this show is not only just about a story, but it's also about lessons and action items that you can take to keep you moving forward in your business. We are equipping and empowering you through education, right? We had Mike Kitko joining us here this evening. Next week, we have another expert joining, Crystal Lockwood, on how to create raving fans with your community. The week after that, we have Jessica Sato, who is a TEDx speaker as well, sharing your message and magnifying your impact as well, so you can continue to live full out in your life. And the list continues. So point being, stay tuned, subscribe, and keep following us. So every Tuesday live at 9 p.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, join me, Vanessa Zamy, the business defibrillator, and our fabulous guest experts here to ensure that you are inspired, informed, equipped, and educated on what it is that you need to keep moving forward. Because the mission of my company, Your Business Catalyst, to ensure that you, at the end of the day, right, when that fateful day comes, because we're all going to die one day, you can say you lived your life without any shoulda, coulda, or wouldas. Ain't I right? Yes, absolutely. Yes. So with that being said, have a lovely evening and enjoy. Check out Mike at livesoulout.com. Check out me at vzamy.com, and check out yourself and say you got to be here this evening. With that, chat soon. Bye, everyone.